Hello, all over the place viewers, and a bit of a somber note right now. Word came in today from over across the pond, and if you've been listening, you know that the Pogues have been coming up on the show quite a bit lately. And the very sad news today that the Pogues lead singer Shane MacGowan, it's weird to say unexpectedly, considering all of his past health problems, but he seemed to be recovering somewhat well from his viral encephalitis of late, but just took a turn for the worse, and Shane MacGowan passed away. And we just want to pay our respects to a guy that both Jim and I we've been Pogues fans for a while, and just because he's been but we've been mentioning them on the show lately, and it's just one of those things. Just want to pay our respects. And Jim is a bigger fan than I, so I'm going to hand the reins over to him. And as I raise a glass to Mr. Shane MacGowan, not Mr. Cowan or Cohen, I'll say it right the second time around. I've had a couple sips already. Raise a glass to Shane MacGowan. Over to you, Jim.
Thanks. So I'll just talk a little bit about my experience with him. So I really got into the Pogues and really that whole genre of music. I got turned on to it in college, and me and had some friends that listened to it all the time, along with some of the other bands like Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly. And we would frequent a local Irish pub that played this kind of music pretty regularly. It was one of those kind of rowdy places where people would get up on the bar and knew every word to every song, and we'd all sing along. It was some good memories there, all fueled by Guinness, of course. Guinness and stupidity, which fuel most of my memories from that time. I've always been kind of blown away by that band, and I've been a punk fan going way back, but something about the Pogues and MacGowan specifically, the way he would, first of all, he was surprisingly well-educated man. He actually went to Westminster, although he got kicked out for possession of certain things, but kind of added to his punk cred, obviously. But very, very, very intelligent, very well-versed, had a lot of influences in Irish history and poetry on his music. And so he was able to kind of combine that, those cultural influences with a very genuine punk attitude and ethos that worked really well in that band, and of course had a lot of beautiful music accompaniment, his stuff was just so raw and so well made, and he had so much attitude, and he was so, I think, really among punkers at that time, he was very, very authentic. He was very much himself. He didn't put on fancy clothes. He didn't put his hair up into a mohawk. He didn't have to do any of that stuff that punkers were doing back then. He was just himself. And even among that image, or among that milieu, shall we say, he was kind of someone you wouldn't expect to see there, a guy who slurred almost every lyric he sang, and kind of a goofy looking guy with possibly the worst teeth in music history, up until about 5 years ago when he got them fixed. And
that's for you, Shane.
That's for Shane right there. First time I saw him, I think ever anything live, he was when he did a performance on Saturday Night Live. I think it was probably the only one they ever let him on, and it was just this weird looking guy slurring through the entire song, stumbling around on the stage, and just unlike anything I'd ever seen before. But man, his voice was so passionate when he sang, and his lyrics were so poetic and beautiful. He really knew how to just take that poetic beauty and infuse it with this amazing punk attitude. And probably better than any artist of his time that was able to combine those two elements and really make something unique and raw and awesome.
The real deal. And like
the real deal.
Punk, there was no artifice to it. Some guys that they were posers, and Shane MacGowan, 100% real deal, not a poser.
Absolutely. He just got up there and was himself all the time. He didn't have to play, almost every musician, I think, plays a character when they get up on stage. And when they're giving interviews and all those things, he never played that. He was just himself up there. Take it or leave it. And that's one thing I loved about him. I loved his music. Rum Sodomy and the Lash, best album, one of the best albums of the 80s and my favorite album of theirs. And absolutely brilliant stuff. Brilliant man.
Yeah, Rum Sodomy and the Lash, and If I Should Fall from Grace with God and Peace and Love. I'll put that up against any 1, 2, 3 combo of albums, just back to back to back. Not a dud on any of those three, and so many other
100%.
great ones within. So once again, Shane MacGowan, great punker, great Irishman, great lyricist, words, music. To Shane MacGowan.
To Shane, you're here.